What is up, YouTube? Well, let me just enlighten you to the situation that just happened. So I wanted to, because I've been uploading things to YouTube, I was like, hey, you know what, we'll do a live stream for the first time. And so I went to do a live stream on Twitch because I don't have enough followers yet to do it on YouTube. So I went to do a live stream on Twitch. And I did a review, which is what this is going to be, a review of all the new buff champions. And yeah, it was about 30 minutes. And it was horrible gameplay, and I'm kind of glad that you guys aren't seeing it. But I was gonna upload it. I was gonna do it, and I didn't because, well, none of the audio captured. So it was 30 minutes of a talking head sitting there in just absolute silence except for the gameplay. So I am not going to go through the gameplay because obviously my thumbs are not working well tonight. So what I'm going to do though is I am going to review all the champions that were just buffed. For the month. So we have 4 champions. We have Angela, we have Masacre, we have the Hood, and we have Civil Warrior. Kind of. So we have 3.5 buffs. So we're going to call it 3.5 because we all know, or if you don't know, you're about to know right now, that the Hood was buffed. Look at this guy. Look how sexy this guy looks. Look at him. Let's spin. Okay, super sexy. So he was buffed. And it was amazing, guys. It was... I liked Hood. I liked him, right? Before his buff. He was fun. He was cool. He was useful. But I didn't take him really anywhere unless I was just kind of screwing around. Then they buffed him, and they gave him the Hex bullets, which is where he could load bullets onto the opponent, and then he could detonate them. For a lot of damage, guys. There were people throwing out videos of insane, incredible damage with the new Hood. And you'd have thought the community as a whole would have been like, oh my god, we love him. No, that was me just smacking the microphone. If you heard it, that was me just smacking it. Anyway, people were complaining that his fate seal was gone. Oh no, he can out damage a lot of the other champions, but now he doesn't have as much utility. Who gives a flying? Bloop. Right? And then on top of that, he had a regen that was actually bugged and was giving him more regen than it should have. And Kabam came back and they said, oh, let us fix that. So they wanted to fix it, and then people were like, oh, you took away his regen. Oh my gosh, guys. Come on. He was so fun to play. So fun to play in the buff version. I was wanting to get a 5 or 6 star, obviously, because I wanted to main Hood. He was fantastic. I was having a lot of fun. I released a guide. I'm going to leave it up. I'm not taking it down because hopefully, they're going to re-release the buff and I'll just edit that guide. But you want to see how it was like, go check out the guide to him. But don't, if you want to know how to play him right now, just don't use that guide. Use the old guide. Anyway, so he was fantastic. And unfortunately now, he's been reverted back because everyone complained, whined him on. He's been reverted back to the pre-buff Hood. Now, why they couldn't just leave him where he was and then just fix the stuff later, I don't know. But, again, I don't know all the inner workings. I just hit the microphone again. I gotta move this thing. But, that being said, he shouldn't have, been reverted back. But, I don't know all the details about how you make a character, different or how you buff them or whatever they're gonna do. So, I await with open arms and great hopes that they will bring the buffed Hood back soon. They said they will in the future sometime, but who knows when that's going to be. That being said, one thing that I hope they do change is that those Hex bullets were actually they were a persistent charge. So you only had a finite amount. You could build them up for the match if you didn't really want to use them, but he was really only great for like 1, maybe 2 matches if you're really conservative with your bullets. Great for a boss fight, maybe, but you couldn't use them for the entire quest. So I kind of hope that they don't make that a persistent charge, that they will regenerate or something, or maybe let him go for a couple matches and regenerates. But I'd like to see where he could use that damage for everything. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry, you're not going to get any gameplay. By the way, before we move on, I would have given Hood a very good, very solid 4 out of 5. Now, I do 1 to 5 stars in this. I'm not doing God tier, stuff like that. You've got other creators out there who are doing the God tiers. I'm doing my own thing. 1 to 5 stars if you like it, great. If you don't, I don't know. Give me some advice. What would you like to see? Do you want me to do like 4.5s? Because right now I'm just doing solids. So I'm actually might change it up because I'm not going to do that. And there are some that could be like a really high, like a 4 point something. Hood, pre-buff, solid 4. If they would change the persistent charge thing, I would give him a 5. I absolutely would give him a 5. But let's go on to our next champion. And we are going to talk about Masacre next. Massacre, right? I'm always so close to hitting that sell button. Now, you want to talk about not as sexy. Not as sexy. And I think I just noticed something about Massacre. Is he... is it bandages around his knees, or are they shorts? No, I'm pretty sure they're bandages. God, I wish they were shorts. That would make it so much more funny. Anyway, Massacre. I loved Massacre. Absolutely loved him. Again, not going to show any gameplay because you can go look at the guide. I love Massacre. Before the buff, he was so much fun. I didn't really expect him to be buffed right now. And I was really excited when I heard, hey, they're going to buff him. Great, awesome, what are they going to do? So, the best thing that they buffed was my biggest complaint about him before, which was it was hard to get those incinerate charges on your bat and then go into Ignited's phase. Why? Because they only took 10 seconds to expire. It was really hard. And if your RNG or your crits just weren't landing, you're going to miss out on all of them. So I like that they extended that period to 20 seconds. It makes him so much easier to use. I pretty much hit Ignited phase in every single match now that I use him. It's fantastic. Then they also, Lord have mercy, buffed. Let's just show this. His special 2 damage against a block. I mean, his special 2 always did more damage against the block. But now, guys, it has 11,797.63 attack rating if blocked. And then plus a 1,300 block penetration if ignited. This guy wrecks you if you're blocking in special 2 and you're ignited. Holy cow, does he wreck you. Again, go check out the guide to him because I've got some really good gameplay, but you can find all kinds of gameplay out there, Seaton, other guys, Beerman, people like that, using Massacre and just obliterating people, especially ones that are really heavy defenders and just didn't want to come at you. So in a match where you have a more aggressive champion that you're fighting, a little bit harder to use because they just don't want to block and you're going to lose a lot of damage. But he's fun to play, he's unique to play, solid 4 out of 5, guys. The only reason he doesn't get a 5 is because his special 3 really could be buffed up more. I know you're like, oh, you're being picky now, Jericho, because freaking special 2 is crazy. But the other thing is the ease of use. He's fun to use, but he's not necessarily the easiest to use in every single match. If you were overall just able to use him in almost every single match, excuse me, it's late. Then solid 5, but a 4 right now. You know, I'm starting to think, guys, we're not going to do this video because I'm not doing it so far. I'm not going back, but I might start doing like half something like that. But solid 4, really fun to use. Highly recommend Massacre if you have him, and of course, if he's with your Red Hulk and your Domino synergy, that Trinity just got even more astoundingly crazy. So, all right, guys, let's move on to Civil Warrior. Civil Warrior. Now, this guy right here, gosh, I was really excited to hear about his buff because I remember when this game first came out, or really early on when it first came out, I remember seeing this champion, Civil Warrior, and being like, I want to download the game just for Civil Warrior. Look at how cool he looks, guys. So awesome. And I really wanted to get the champion, and I think eventually I did, and then it just was like, whatever. But back then I didn't even know how to play the game. Even if I did know how to play the game, it wouldn't matter because he just wasn't a great champion. Before the buff, I would give him a solid, 2. And he's only getting a 2 because he had the heal block. He still has the heal block, which is great if you're fighting Wolverine or any of the other high healing champions. He is fantastic because that heal block is always there on demand with that heavy attack. Fantastic. His energy drain, his power drain with the special 2, meh. I mean, I guess in a pinch you're fighting Hyperion or something, and hopefully his power gain isn't proccing that often. Maybe. But, I mean, it just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't really give him a whole lot of extra utility. His damage, or his gameplay, I should say, his battle rotation, kind of fun. It's very similar to Super Scroll, but like a buffed out Super Scroll. It does get a little difficult to manage getting your armors and then making sure that your furies don't run out so that you can then gain more and more furies. Now, that being said, if you can manage that and you can dash back constantly and keep on rebuffing those furies and not, if you've seen that gameplay on Twitch, keep on getting hit by heavy attacks when you're trying to get more furies, which happens to me so often, which is why I don't use Civil War. Plus, I've only got 3 stars. You can see, guys. Yeah. So because of that, his gameplay is a little weird. Now, that being said, if you're really good at playing Civil Warrior, if you're really good at it, you can get in a long fight 700 damage. I mean, you can get 700% more damage out of him. You can gain a lot of furies. That being said, for most people, this isn't going to be your guy. And there's going to be so many other tech champions out there, or just champions in general, that you could choose in a long fight with Civil Warrior. Because even though you can, what is up with me? Get up to that 700 damage. It just, that's my dog, by the way, that you just heard growl. Even though you can get up to that 700 damage, it's just, it takes a while. So, 700% damage or so. So, anyway, Civil Warrior, love that they buffed him, like that they buffed him, like the buffs, but overall, I'm only going to give him a 3 out of 5. Again, his damage is there, it just takes a while to get to. It doesn't persist over matches. You know, if they wanted to make it to where it persisted a little bit between fights, kind of like an Aegon type thing, that'd be pretty cool. But otherwise, 3 out of 5 guys. Overly not impressed, but I mean, I like him. I like the fact that he got buffed, and he's got a good buff. So they just need to make it a little bit more user-friendly. Last one, Angela. All right. Hopefully she's got that skirt on right here so we don't throw anyone from behind. Except for that big old sword holster. A sheath. What am I talking about? Look at me. Chump. Anyway, Angela. Love Angela. Now, I'll say this. I pulled this 5-star Angela, and she's not obviously maxed out or anything. I don't think I made up unlimited resources. I pulled my 5-star Angela about a month ago, actually, right before the buff. Right before they even announced the buff. From the featured 5-star crystal, and I was kind of bummed because there was there were more people that are the champions that I really want to get, but I got Angela. I was like, oh well, okay. I heard she's okay. I'll try her eventually, right? I'm actually really glad that I got her. I awakened her, which I used a stone for, so you know that's how much I really wanted to use her. And then I'm working on getting her power her PI up. So, Angela, what do I think of her? Well, she's really great with utility because when she has more and more buffs on her, she becomes more and more immune, not only to nullify and stagger, but also to damage over time debuffs. Fantastic for different nodes and different champions. Especially, my big one I'm thinking about is freaking Iceman, who I hate fighting when he's awakened. Angela is great because she just mitigates that damage whenever you have enough buffs on her. Now, you can say, well, it's going to take you a few seconds to gain those buffs. You're right, except unless you have Odin on your team, which I actually do. If you have Odin on your team, he's already going to start you off with several buffs. So by the time, I mean, honestly, a couple hits in, dude, you are going to be smacking hard with Angela, and you're going to be mitigating all that damage over time. The other thing, too, she's got a really cool synergy with Heimdall, where if you dash back and you hold your block, you will gain a Fury buff, an indefinite one. That will stack onto your other Fury buff. So, they gave her more utility, a lot more utility, to use in the game. That being said, they didn't really buff her damage all that much. I noticed in a couple of my fights, even when, so with the other part of the Odin synergy is, not only does he give those persistent charges, those pre-fight abilities to gain buffs, which helps with her damage over time control, right? But he also, when you have synergy with Angela, as she goes through a path, she'll gain 5% more attack for each completed fight. Fantastic. But guys, I still notice that even when we get up there, she's just not throwing it out. And I'm not using like super high level stuff with her uncollected this month's side quest, and she's just still not smacking out like I want her to. And they didn't. The one thing they really need to do is they need to buff her damage on the specials that she has, and they really didn't. So I released a guide. You can see the best ways to play her, and you can see some gameplay that I'm talking about in there. I'm not going to show it right now, but yeah, you know, Angela, I'm going to give her a very solid 5. Or sorry, 5. No, not got there yet. A very solid 4. 4 out of 5, guy. Again, really high, really solid, rock hard, granite 4. She is fantastic. If they had just buffed her damage a little bit more, just give her special 2, like, you know, buff it up by 20%. 20, not that much. I'm not asking for a crazy amount. I'm not asking for Cosmic Ghost Rider. But a little bit more, solid 5. That's the only thing she's missing, is the damage output. Even with the other things that she's got going and the other ways to gain damage, it's just that damage output. Yeah, guys. So those are my reviews. You don't have to like them. You don't have to love them. You can, in fact, completely disagree with me and hate them. Again, I'm not doing God tiers or anything like that. I'm just doing 1 to 5 stars. Let me know, guys. Do you agree with where I put these champions? Do you think I'm full of malarkey? Malarkey! Do you think I'm full of it? I probably am. I'd probably agree with you on that. But as far as my ratings of these champions goes, these are solid. And also let me know, guys, do you want me to start doing like 4.5s, 4.8s? What do you want me to do? Because I could probably get you a little bit closer to a better, maybe a better rating. So I'll probably start doing it anyway. But let me know. Do you like that, or you just like the solid 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s? All right, guys. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to, keep up with all the guides I'm releasing. We're going to be releasing MCoC and Odin soon for guides and how to play. MCoC is probably going to be first. Try to release him this week. If I have the time, I will absolutely get out on Odin this week as well. I want to try to get both those out. So, and then next week we'll be doing reviews on both MCoC and Odin as well. So, if you want to keep up to date with all that, just let me know and subscribe to the channel, guys. Make sure you like the video, and if you don't, guys, well, I don't know. I got nothing for you this time, guys. I'm apparently tired because I've yawned halfway through this video, and if you don't want to yawn every single second for the rest of your life, I top the head. I don't know. If you don't want to yawn every single second for the rest of your life, if you actually want to be able to get out a sentence and be able to say stuff like "Hello, neighbor," because people say that now, even if you're not Mr. Rogers, and not just like, if you don't want to do that all the time, then like the video, guys. Yeah. See ya.